Hello, everyone. We're actually live after that spinning wheel. Um, the hurry up and wait wheel on the computer.
Indeed.
Anyway, hi John. Nice
Hi,
to see
Angie.
you.
Nice to see
So
you
I'm
too.
I'm kind of excited about this one because first of all, I love reading the cards for the energy of kind of what's going on. But I love that we're pulling out some unusual decks,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, that
Mm-hmm.
are a little not your traditional rider weight or even kind of your
Yeah,
mainstream. Although
right.
I don't know, maybe what I've got, one of them is kind of mainstream. I don't know that now that I find out that the authors of the two I've got are actually speaking at some big, Hay House event or something. Maybe they're more mainstream than I think they are, but
Right, right,
my whole world revolves around Radley Valentine. So
right.
there you go.
Anything else is not mainstream.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Anyway, so what we want to try and do today is actually kind of just give you an energy report for, I don't know, it might be for January, it might be for the first quarter. We're just going to kind of see what we get from these
Yeah.
decks that we're using. Um, all of the decks but one that we've discussed for the episode are decks that we've used, we've
That we
both of
own.
us
Yep.
used. And so before we start with any of that, I just wanted to take a second and show you this really unusual deck that I found. It's called Kipper. I can't read. I can't read that. It's German.
Oh,
So
it's
it's
French.
it's of
No,
German, it's of German origin.
the words on the top though are French. Fin de siècle is um, end of the century, I believe.
Oh, okay. So but I do remember that they said this deck was of German
Yep,
origin.
that makes sense.
So I don't know. But what they do, what they call it is a fortune telling deck, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is not tarot by any stretch of the imagination. And
Nor
it's
is it nor is it Lenormand.
no, no, it's definitely not Lenormand,
Lenormand.
Lenormand, how, depending
Yeah,
on who you ask. Um, However, I mean, it is Lenormand-esque,
yeah.
Lenormand adjacent, perhaps.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's a great way to
Um,
say it. I love that.
it's it's only 38, I think it's 38 cards. And it starts out you have the main male and you have the main female. And so if your querent is a male, you use this card to anchor the reading. And if your querent is a female, you use this card to anchor the reading. So these don't get shuffled in with the deck. These are held to the side, and then depending on who you're reading for.
Okay.
And then the cards themselves are very simplistic. Um, I don't know if you can see high honor. They
Okay.
do
Yep.
have numbers. Thief, which might, which actually, if you're doing a reading for a lady, might say, hold tighter to your purse
Mm.
or something of that nature. I mean, there's just, I don't know. Can you see what that
Yep.
says?
Distant horizons.
Distant horizons. That could, say whatever you're talking about is kind of far away. So it's a really simple way. And from the videos I watched, a pretty easy way to learn to kind of read oracle or to
Huh.
I'm reluctant to use the word fortune telling because whenever you use that word fortune telling, now all of a sudden a lot of what you do is against the law, right? Because
True.
fortune telling it's not necessarily coaching or using coaching tools such as tarot or oracle cards is not illegal per se, but fortune telling is. So even though that's kind of what they call it, I push
Right.
that to the
Let's
side.
push that term aside. It's funny in New York, you cannot run a fortune telling business, but you
No,
can
right?
run a tarot entertainment business. No
Isn't
problem with
that it?
that.
Well, and I think it's probably because the lawmakers just don't understand
Right.
what's what,
And to be
right?
fair, there's been a lot of scammers that have caused that.
Oh, well, I
Right.
mean, for real. I mean, it's. I think we talked about that show with Whoopi Goldberg, The Con,
Yeah,
where she
yeah.
was talking about those, where they'll come up and, oh my goodness, look, you have, oh look, your child is ill and sad, but for $3,000, I can give you a spell and a candle to
Right,
bury in your backyard.
right here. This candle right here. All you need to pay is $3,000, and this
It,
candle can be yours.
yeah, I mean, it's, and I'll write you a charm to say over the candle while you
Mm,
light. I mean, I mean, crazy. But this is not where we wanted to go today, but it does kind of speak to how. Oh, this is interesting. It speaks to. I'm not going to use the word lazy, but I'm going to say that it speaks to how powerful the idea of not putting in the work can be for people.
Yep, yep.
Like, I mean, if you're in a financial hurt locker, right, for this reason or that reason, get a job or file bankruptcy, or, there's actions that you can take, in other
Mm,
words, what I'm
yep.
saying. But instead, use your last $1,000 to pay this fortune teller who guarantees you. You see
Oh,
what I mean?
it's
Like,
yeah. It's like the
so it's
lottery, right?
right. It's like, people are willing to bypass the work because they're being sold snake
Yeah,
oil. Snake oil,
yeah,
I mean, that is the epitome of snake oil, right?
yeah.
Because snake oil was a medicine that they said would do this or do that, and so anyway, that's enough of that. But that's what I just wanted to say. That one is fun. It was on Amazon. It wasn't terribly expensive. And if you are looking to start out reading cards or just interested in, kind of different kind of decks, this is really I'm not going to call it sweet, but fun.
Yeah.
I found it to be really fun, and I found quite a few YouTube videos, and some in English.
It's a
That
nice intro, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Right. It's a nice intro. It's certainly less complicated than tarot,
Yeah.
you know. So that's what I've got. So we're not going to pull any cards for the energy of the year from there because this to me is a little more dialed in and specific to a person
Mm,
rather
yeah.
than reading globally. But I have some other other decks picked out, other decks picked out. Excuse me, other decks picked out for a more global answer. So what have you got? Let's
Let's
just take
see.
turns. What are you going to do first?
All right. I think I'm gonna use my strangest deck first. And that is, well, I'll hold it up here.
The round one.
The round one, yes. It's the Circle of Life Tarot.
So cool.
Yeah, it is. And it's a
Because
normal.
doesn't it tell you a different story based on the way it's oriented when you
No, not really. I
oh
mean, here's one of the, let's see if we can see that.
yeah, not so well.
Not so well. I'll put it on my other camera when I'm ready to read. But basically, if you look at each image, it only goes one way. So there's a very clear top and bottom. There's some interesting imagery, and there's some imagery that kind of goes around, so you can look at it different ways. But for the most part, it's clear what's top and what's bottom. I think they just wanted to make a deck that hadn't been made before, and there you go.
Yeah, well, there you go. So what does the round deck have to tell us about the year 2024, or the month of January, or
Yeah, let's start with that. I wonder if I should do one. Shall we pull one card?
I think if that's what you're guided to do,
It is. It is.
do.
All right. All right. So I'm going to pull one card from this, and let me see if I can flip my camera a minute. We'll give this a test if it works. Yeah, that does work, doesn't it? Okay. All right. So I'm pulling one card from this deck. And I like this one. This is the 9 of Cups. All right, so the 9 of Cups is kind of the wishes come true. It's the dreams come true card.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Nice. Nice for 2024 dreams.
I
come true.
agree totally. I mean, it's always nice to kick things off on a good start. And as you know, there's no bad cards in tarot. But when you get a really juicy, nice one, I like that. So because I like the book that comes with this. I mean, I like the book that comes with most decks, but not this one, because this one, there's no pictures, and it's really, really hard to find your way around in this book. But I'm slowly getting to the 9.
Oh, I'm sure it's better than the book for the next deck I've picked. But go ahead.
Okay.
You'll see.
All right. So the meanings are a wish come true.
We have a couple of viewers too. So hello,
nice.
everyone.
Hi,
Thank
everybody.
you for joining us.
All right. So this round Circle of Life tarot deck, the 9 of Cups of the books here is a wish come true, which I just mentioned to you. Be proud of what you've accomplished. And then it kind of describes what's in the picture. It's, there's a woman sitting with a water jug. Let's see. The birds let her know that the water is fresh and hasn't been tampered with. The message of this card is to enjoy the harvest of nature's gifts, which, if you expand that out, is, enjoying what you have and knowing that your wishes will come true.
Well, I think that it's a really good, something that we don't mention a lot in the very beginning of the year is to take stock of what we accomplished and what we did in the year before, right?
Celebrate last year.
Celebrate it, update your vision board. Yep. Put those new wishes out there. And I love the word wishes. I know a lot of people, I know I say all the time, there's no manifesting without action, but wishing is an action.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that wishing is an action. So I'm really, really thrilled that we got that one. What a great way to start.
9 of Cups, wishes come true. So let's,
awesome.
Let's revel in that.
So I am going to read these next 2 cards. They're telling me 2 cards. I'm using the Divine Energy Oracle by Sonia Choquette. This is all published by Hay House. And it is an interesting, really cool deck. But the book is not in alphabetical order. Oh, I don't really know how you're supposed to, and there are no numbers on the card, so I don't really know how you're supposed to look them up. But that's okay, because I love to connect to the energy of the card. And so what we are looking for is the general energy that we should be all putting out into the world for 2024, and then the energy that we can expect to be coming toward us. So the first card is the energy we should be putting out, and the second card is what we can expect to be coming toward us.
Okay.
So here we go. So here's what we should be putting out into the world for 2024. Change tracks. So what does that mean? That tells me that anything that was not working for you in 2023, it's time to shift a little bit. Now, if you think about changing tracks is not about turning around. Changing tracks is moving over to the next track, and that's one of those adjustments that's small where you make it, but has a large impact as you move further away, right? So changing tracks doesn't mean you did everything wrong. Changing tracks means look at what you've done up until now, which really plays with that 9 of Cups that says, make a list and look at all you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And now it's time, moving forward, to change tracks and really, really look at what you're trying to create for yourself. because there's more. This is what they want you to know. There's more available to you in 2024 than there has been a very long time.
Nice.
So this is the energy that you're putting out, and then the energy coming towards you is a wake-up call. Now, this is interesting because I've done this exact spread for other people, and I keep getting this card, and I swear I'm shuffling and I'm
Mhm.
pulling it out of the middle of the deck. But wake up call is not like, oh my God, things are going bad. This is not a wake up call like the Tower.
Right.
This is a wake up call like, pay attention to what's coming towards you, because you don't. Do you remember the message that we got a couple of weeks ago where it was, don't be so don't don't be so tight to hang on to your suffering, because you'll
Yes.
miss the very thing
Yep.
that's coming towards you to help you out of it, right? So that's what this wake up call
Oh,
is about.
that's awesome.
Like,
It's coming
change your
back.
track, open your peepers, pay attention to what's coming towards you, and your
Wonderful.
wishes come true. I mean, we've just put all three cards together in a really
Yeah,
beautiful
nice.
way, I think.
Nice.
And I mean, we will find out a little bit more next week when we talk with Lisa, because we've got Lisa Hagenbuck, astrologer extraordinaire, coming on to tell us more about the astrology of 2024. But I'm really hopeful that she's going to agree with us that there's a lot of good things coming our way in 2024, and I think that this really supports that.
Yeah. Cool.
So, all right, and I'm excited now about your next deck. So John and
Okay.
I spilled to each other about what what the decks were. So
All right.
I'm excited about the next one.
All right.
So what do we see?
So, I bought this deck a number of years ago and used it a couple times and tucked it away. This is called the Fairy Forest, and it's all Celtic and Irish gods and goddesses. So,
I love that
if
so
you are
much.
interested, yes, if you're interested in that culture, and especially as it pertains to the kind of the esoteric part of it, this is a gorgeous deck. The cards are huge. I mean, I'll just hold these up here. They're like,
Wow.
yeah, they're like almost paperback book sized.
I mean, I'd have a hard time even using my trick, which is shuffle sideways, right? I don't shuffle this way. I
Sure.
shuffle this way.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
can't.
I think I need to actually like set aside a room in the house just for shuffling this this deck.
Or get yourself one of those Vegas machines,
Oh, God,
right?
that'd be so funny. Wouldn't that be hilarious to do a tarot reading with one of those?
It would be great.
Like, what are you doing? Well, I use the machine to shuffle.
That's all.
Right. I did a reading for someone with this deck, and there's one card in here that's kind of weird, and the card
Only
one that's kind of stands out as weird.
Oh, okay.
And
One
what it
that's
says is,
particularly weird.
it says, pay attention to your health. You need to eat better and pay attention to your health. And I did a reading for a woman, and I had the three cards. The other two were more about, going down your spiritual path and so on. And it says, I don't know what's up with that health card. She goes, I do.
Yeah, right.
She
Isn't that
was
something?
actually
How
quite
they
ill, and it was just letting her know that was something she needed to keep focusing on. I'm like, ooh, wow, it was really interesting.
I love when the cards just know what's going
Yeah,
on.
and of course it was a person I knew but didn't know well, and it was really interesting that card came up for her. All right, so I'm shuffling these lovely fairy forest cards, and
And thanks for sticking with us while we're shuffling here, because I know it's taking a while. Next time we do something like this, we'll get them shuffled for you ahead of time. I promise.
All right, so the first card is the Solitary, and it means dedication, self-love, and focus. So I'm going to put that in my little stand here. And the second one that I'm going to pull is the Life Bringer. establishment, growth, and fulfillment. Let me switch over here. So we'll just see these two cards. All right, good. We can see them both. So we've got the solitary and the life giver. So let's see what those are about. So the solitary, within you go. The solitary visits, you are about to go within. Withdraw, retreat from the world for a time. This can be a response to an event, trauma, and the withdrawing inwards, which appears to be depression, or it can be time that you will go in alone to walk your own path, choosing to carve a way forward that you can be sure remains true to the deep self. So I think this is the equivalent of the guru card, or the
It's also what you
hermit.
need to do to change tracks, right?
You might, yes. In fact, if you are trying to see what your path is for this year, deep introspection is going to give that to you. So, and I'm a huge fan of meditation. That's deep introspection. That's the kind of thing you can do to go inside, ask your guides, angels, and loved ones, what is that track for this year? So I think that's what this is speaking to.
Cool.
And let me look up the other card real quick. The Life Bringer. About you now, ideas and projects are gestating. Constellations of ideas are birthing. Your creativity is flowing from within, and ideas are developing in an easy, organic flow. For a time, you'll be rich in health and love and physical beauty. While there is much that is new about you, what has already been developed within your world can now be brought to greater fulfillment.
So something I'm noticing here is, and listeners can agree or not, you can agree or not, but it seems to me like what we've kind of pointed out here is that some decks are really better suited for one-on-one readings than for groups. And I think that this particular deck is better for speaking to an individual.
I agree. Although I do like the thing about stuff that's already part of you.
Absolutely.
Is going to be coming to fulfillment in this 2024 year.
And if you really look at it, it goes with everything we've already said.
Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so.
It really does go with everything. So I think that depending on what it is you're looking for from a reading, this it shows you that you can certainly get much deeper information from some decks than others, if that makes sense. So not that this is not good for the group, because it is, but this, you could really have a great conversation with a Quirin regarding, what were you working on in the last year? What are your plans? So this is a really great jumping off point. So for any of you that are readers or read for yourself, it's just a few tips and tricks, the idea of allowing the cards that you get to create a deeper conversation, and jumping off points for whether it's coaching other people or helping yourself figure out what to go. So where I think the first cards were a little more fluffy, so to speak, this is really deep in there. So I think this is a really cool deck.
Yeah, I do too. I'm actually glad I dug it up, because I might be bringing this to the forefront.
Might be time to pull that out. All right, so I have one. I think we've probably got time. Just we've each done the whatever we've done, and 3. Have we done 3? I don't know. Have you done 2 or 3?
I've done 2 decks.
Okay, well, I don't know. there's a lot of energy all of a sudden going on, and then I get energy brain. But I really wanted to bring this one out. Notes from the Universe on Abundance
Hmm.
by Mike Dooley. I don't know if this one was published by Hay House. I don't even know where the do you hate when you lose things when you haven't gone anywhere?
Right. I've been sitting at my chair this entire time. Where
It's
is my pen?
It's kind of like the scissors when you're wrapping presents. Right? So anyway, so here's the back of the card, which is beautiful.
I love it.
All the backs of these cards are just gorgeous. Like they're all different.
They're different?
Yeah, every one of them is different, but they're all gorgeous.
Wow, that's cool.
So, but the message for the year from the universe is, if it was just about surviving, getting by, and keeping things the way they are, then how would you explain your wild imagination? If it was just about sacrifice, selflessness, and altruism, then how would you explain your burning desires? And if it was just about thinking, reflection, and spiritual stuff, then how would you explain the physical world? Get the picture? Want it all. That's what it's there for. Vroom, vroom, the universe. So I love this, and I love this as a mission for the year. I love this as a statement for the year.
Statement for the year.
You know, I mean, because we have all these people who are trying to make their way to the fifth dimension, but that's not why we're here. You know, so embrace. When you take all of these things, you take your imagination. What can you dream of? What can you dream up? And what do you want? What do you want to create? And then, you know, what's here and what's tangible. Put it all together. That's the track you want to put yourself on. Those are the wishes that you want to make for the year. Wow, I couldn't ask for a more, to me, positive 2024 reading.
Yeah. Yep. I think that should be a poster. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah, this one I think deserves to have its picture taken and be shared, you know, on the pages and stuff. So we'll do that. Anyway, so do you have another one handy, or
I do. I do have one more. Well, I got this quirky one. Let me bring out the quirky one. Shall we?
Yeah, well, let's pull one from a quirky one and see what happens. I think it's very interesting that we use, you know, very different types of decks, but basically came up with the same information.
Right. Well, now we're going to blow that all apart, because I have this quirky little oracle. It's the Crystal Ball Pocket Oracle.
Hi, Samantha. Oh yeah, my favorite yes and no deck.
Right. So, as we talked about before we started the show, we don't really like our yes and no decks because they don't have the nuances. They don't tell a story.
No, and for me, they always tell me no. So come on now. Every single time.
All right. So why don't we ask a question? Let's see.
Okay. Is the general energy of 2024 coming towards us positive? How's that? Does that?
Yes.
Yes. All right. I think we should leave it at that now.
Right.
Don't give that thing an opportunity to.
I was just going to say that. I'm going to put it away, and we got a nice answer. Thank you very much, Deck. We're putting it back in the box.
You know, and I honestly think that that's a really good point, because I know people that are like, they want a yes, they get the yes, but they don't want to believe the yes because, oh, you know, so then they read it again and they get maybe another yes, but then finally they get the no that they've been expecting all along, when in fact they should have taken the yes,
right,
put the deck away, and moved on.
Right.
So okay, well that's it for the decks for today. However, we're gonna hop off and then we're gonna jump back onto another live stream, because we're going to start our new moon intentions, and we want to put that on an individual video for you, so you can you know, you can take a look at that more than once. The new moon for January is on the 11th, which is tomorrow. And it is a great time to set intentions, and we're going to do this every month to make those resolutions and those ideas, those pathways that we have for ourselves for 2024 a little bit easier to set,
Yeah,
because they'll be
we're gonna make it stick.
smaller, to accomplish because they'll be smaller, and to get that dopamine hit from, hitting a
Right.
goal.
Yes.
So thank you for listening if you've been with us all the way through till now. And if you enjoyed and you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
Mhm.
All right, we'll see you later.